Go raw on do raw, I say. I should tell you on vibrations, every bucka. Mama Seta. May your mind, bucks, and souls be old. May your omits be sound. May your buckas be leaven off ground. When we keep to the breath, to the orth, to the mothor, to the seon, the soul of Ra guides and keeps you old. Ion ma I Ezra Eli say El say I Christ or a chaplain Tata Amen Ra. I am Truth Awareness, True Talk. Can be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma Elf, that's intelligence, Aminology to Angodu. This is all sound logic. And with that offer to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice to raise Ray 1828. Go to Google, go to Apple, download the Kagadora app, get off the Gregorian timeline. There's absolutely no elevating to your higher self without the Mathorian Kagadora keeping, or is better than keeping your call locked on that Gregorian clock. I don't consent to draconian state, nor should you hashtag that in your post. Thoughts, spore that spawns intelligence. Dennafungi.org. Your mental health is your spiritual compass. You gotta orientate to Baal by going to Jesus.com, signing up, getting the eye bucket to Omen to replace your prayers, and get yourself protection so you can continue to pursue your higher self, your soul reclamation. You also get access to the Mathorian Kagadora poster. You also get access immediately to directionary.com, because the words you use to operate your system, which operates our reality, die your erection. They work against, they are opposed of sound, which is radiated, broadcasted by Ra. Ta'angodu. You need to learn that, because we speak motion. We're working with life. We're working with what moves. We're not giving what dead. Life. This is part 2. Decoding the Major League Baseball World Series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers. We decoded LA Dodgers yesterday. We're going to continue by decoding the Toronto Blue Jays. We brought back the sound names. We evolved sound logos. We now need you to activate by holding and moving and participating by way of these sounds. We made it as easy as buying a sticker to as representing as getting yourself a t-shirt, a jersey, a hat. Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto. Well, like I mentioned yesterday, I was stemmed out in Toronto. And that word Toronto, when we finish decoding it, you'll realize that it means sustain corruption. That's what Toronto means. And so the parasites operate simulating in parallel to the soul Ra stem. So if everything is sound, there is no competition. So Draconi sets up their state the same way. All of these teams represent Baal, okay? Or I should say Baal, sorry. Okay? That's the artificial, that's the log, that's our goal. Okay? The spirit of our goal is Baal. Okay? This is artificial. This is the log. Okay? This is the program that maintains the stumped tree. Okay? And so what we are doing, we're putting everything back under its sound authority, because all teams, everything, everywhere, all facets are operating under the false authority as Ra. But we've explained that now that Ra is back, these draconians can only operate as draconians. But yet, all the evidence of how they created their fraud are in logos. We went through that many years ago when the natives, the so-called native Indians, were having all of their, their chiefs removed, the Black Hawks and all these types of stuff. And I was saying back then, that's the wrong thing to do. That's the absolute wrong thing to do. You're removing any evidence. You're removing, the reality that this was a sound place. Well, I'm not making that mistake. And I'm actually bringing everything forward. And I'm realizing that I'm in possession of sound. They are in possession of truth, which is two totally different things. I've explained in the videos Decoding Truth that truth is actually burnt ore. Okay, it's evidence that there is no life remaining in whatever you're speaking about, whether you're observing. Anything that you need to come to the determination of truth requires full evidence that there is no more sound, no thought, nothing can emanate from that product. It's been reduced to ash. Okay, and it is now truthfully able to be put in an urn. Okay, so these parasite draconian gods want truth so that they can earn whatever they manipulate. Whatever they manipulate must be classified and stated as dead. And that is the truth. Anything that is dead can be spoken as truth. Okay? You understand that, truth seeker. So once again, your chappie has lifted the veil off of another one of your fashionable key phrases. Okay? One of your fashionable key phrases, because all you guys are just mostly clones, just moving around, having a look to have the same controlled opposition that we were seeing here with two to Ba-Sever, Baal teams. Okay? So Toronto, when we're breaking down Toronto, T-O equals corruption thoughts. Why? Because you have the word to. Okay, so when you have a oo sound, that means the head has been removed. Okay? That means the head has been removed. Okay? So you have a ta, which is thought, but the thought has become ood. Okay, so the breath, the ta'ah, has been removed from it, so there's no life in that thought. So that means it's a corrupted thought. Okay, when you're saying give that to that person, remember, we are parasites speaking, so anything that we do must sustain that corruption. So when we're addressing something as a to, okay, that obviously is telling you that what is supposed to be delivered is corrupt. Okay, even if we look at that word deliver to go outside of our lesson here, but it's still within, you have liver. Okay, so that means live or. Okay, so even though the word live is not a good word, because that means lie, means severed, means it's flattened. Okay, the flattened soul. Okay, vessel. Flattened soul vessel is live. Okay, when you say live, that means you're giving that flattened soul vessel breath. So it's really live. This is why I use the word or the calling on. Okay, because that's what it is. Okay, you're on. Your origin new. On new. Okay, you're on. So back to our lesson here. All right, and so the word liver is to filter. Okay, so that your job of your liver, the organ, is to filter out the toxins. Okay, so if you're detaching that function, what you're bringing to that person is delivered, meaning that it is not has not been screened for corruption. Okay, so meaning that you could be receiving something that is bad for you, most likely is bad for you. That's why you have to have a delivery, because in the artificial construct, you have to deliver something that's going to sustain corruption. This is why they say we're having a delivery, not a livery. Because if it was a livery and you stay true to English, what is coming to you must be life, and must be life to sustain life. Okay? So that's what to means. Okay? It's to corrupt. Okay? It's not ta'o. Right? If it was ta'o, then it would be ta'on, which would mean thoughts to sustain you on, sustain your erection. Okay? Your erect state. Now we have ron, so that means row on. Okay? Does it mean raw on? It means row on. Okay? Because you have to recognize we're giving a choice. So when they assemble these letters, that's exactly what they mean. Okay? It's our job to decode what the true meaning is, and that's very simple. All we have to do is watch what the behaviors are attached to those words. That's what they mean. There's no difference than what I'm doing. Okay? And so when we have row, we have to ow, to harm, your row. Okay, so that means ow, raw, ow. Okay, so that means you're either harming Ra, or you're under the belief that Ra is harming you. And that's what they love to do. They put Ra as the literally devil. Okay, everything about hell being fire, this is Ra, right? This is where parasites go, right? They have to be eviscerated. They have to be, removed by fire. Okay, it's just like anything. If you have a virus, dead people, you have to burn them, burn the bodies. Okay, I keep telling you, in Jamaica we have a saying: when somebody's on their deathbed, we literally tell them we're going to sun you. Okay, that means you're going to be put out in the sun. That's your last chance. That's where you're going to die or you're going to live. Okay, that's what row means. You also have to look at it. Okay, that the word row means that you're restricted from movement. Okay, when you're harmed from Ra, that means you're separated by Ra. You're not receiving any intelligence from Ra. So that means you're not receiving radiance, which sustains your motion. Okay, and so if you look at a row, they call a row in a boat, a tool that helps propel the boat over the water. Okay, and so you have to see that the souls are what the parasites use to propel them, into life. Okay, so you have the romance, the ones that keep the man in line, in a row. When we plant things, we're taught to plant things in a row. Okay, so this goes against Ra. Okay, it's Au's Ra. Okay, this is what's happening. Okay, and then we have TO, this repeats. Okay, so it means sustain corruption. Okay, keep things in line. This is the code for Toronto. Okay, when you live in Toronto, you agree with Toronto, you're managing Toronto, anything to do with Toronto in your agreement, you're agreeing to sustain corruption, you're agreeing to stay in line. Okay, you're agreeing not to move under Ra, under source, which is sound. Okay, the word blue now means low non-thinking. That's what it means. Okay, opposite of what it actually creates and does, which is classic draconian word code flip. Okay, the blue is for your ba and the lu. Okay, the blue. Okay, so first of all, blue. You have ba and you have l. Okay, so that's a flat L. Okay, the L should sound like this. When you say L, it should say element. Okay, that's what an L, the symbol L stands for, element. Okay, but when you have the word, the letter used, and it's flat, you don't hear what it is. That means it's removed. Okay, the sound has been removed. Okay, so now you have a spirit that's moving a flat sound. So that's literally a spirit. It's not a ba anymore. Okay, a ba is attached to the ka, which is attached to source. That's why source is called ba. Okay, so the word blue means low non-thinking. Okay, you have a silent E. It's not even, you can't even hear it. You can't hear the L and you can't hear the E. Those are the two things that are missing. That's the element of sound. You have J. Okay, it means artificial intelligence. It means half radiant. It means to move or go AI. How do I get there? Well, the J is half of an O. Okay, if you go like this, and then you go like that, you get an O. Okay, when you put the JT, now you're having half thought. There's very specific coding here. Now you're having half thought. Okay, so this is the bait and the switch. Okay, this is why J is used a lot for Jesus, for gods, and for that types of things that have to deal with intelligence, because it's a code. It's telling you they're removed of sound. Okay, this is the artificial. Okay, it's not the O. Everything comes from the O. Even though a proper O is like that, spiral, right? To use the symbology that we're given, the O in the artificial construct represents the whole, which is source. Okay? We've confiscated all things. Okay? The Y is the same as an I, except for it doesn't have the sun, and it's in agreement. Okay, so I did a video the other day saying the proper symbol that I would change is I would make the Y like that, an I with the hands up. Now it means that a soul is in agreement with Ra. When you just have this without a head, this means you are in agreement with that which does not have its own intelligence, which is the AI. You're in agreement with anything. Okay, it's very, very, very important that we get this and we recognize and realize that. Okay, so that's the full code breakdown for Toronto Blue Jays, is to sustain corruption. Okay, and low vibrational thinking. Okay, under AI. This is what it means. Okay, but of course I come with solution. We worked all day yesterday, I should say, and we've come up with a beautiful solution. Okay, we've now have the sound version. So instead of having a choice of to recycle and recircle and regain these demonic energies, because of my intelligence, because of my anointment by Ra, because I am the sound man, I'm showing you my power in the etheric worlds, how I'm working. A lot of you are made wired not to even look and appreciate, right? Only to simulate and act as you are. Okay? So don't be trying to wait for any Three-Eye Atlas or Palladians or all this bullshit. Okay? A little old guy, Christopher A. Chaplin, Tata Elaise Else I Hamid Raz, doing all the works, doing all of it. Okay? I'm doing it all, and I need your help. I need you to activate and start participating and start doing what you were made to do, and that is to support. Okay? That's what you were made for. You're not made to innovate. Right? You're not made to innovate. You're made to support the innovators. Okay? And if by doing that, maybe your children and so on will be in a position where they can innovate. Okay? But all you guys got to realize and recognize right now, you have an opportunity, all of you guys, to be like me. Okay? Have a brain that is sound and actually can do something in your own unique way. Okay? Because that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get for a lot of you. Okay, is to have lucky that you could actually could be connected to Ra and start deprogramming your systems, your molecular structure, everything. Okay, and converting everything to sound, like you see I've done here for the Toronto Blue Jays, and yesterday you've seen I've done for the LA Dodgers. Okay, so let's start breaking this down. You have Ta Ra on Ta Ra. Everybody recognizes Ta. That's thinking. Ra is where the thoughts are coming from. So Ra is Tara. So when Earth was named Tara, when you had Tartaria, it's telling you we are under Ra. Okay, this whole entire planet, when everything was big, erect, and going beautiful pyramids and all this shit. Okay, everybody looked to Ra for intelligence. We were connected to Source. Okay, we weren't connected to a man that stood there and say, I'm the fucking God. Okay? And don't look at that sun. I created that fucking sun in the sky. This is literally what happened, peeps. You have people like me who are not sound pointing to the sky, pointing to the water and say, yeah, my dad created that. My grandfather created that. Meanwhile, it's the elements that creates life. Okay, so we're putting Toronto back under Ra. Back as a principal location on this planet, like it always is, how Canada has always been. Okay, you're going to find out and learn that the center of Babylon was right here. Okay, what do you think all these big giant castles in Quebec came from? You think any Spaniards or Frenchmen built that shit? Hell no. Okay, they came here and left that as one of the things they didn't wipe to the friggin' ground. Dust. Okay, Canada was one of the first locations that was literally put to dust and left, while the rest of the world, went on with itself and their other corruption. Canada was left to grow a new identity, to grow overall the death in its history. Okay, so Toronto, you have Ta, you have Ra, you have On. Okay, so the Ta of Ra keeps life under the Ta of Ra. So we've gone from the sustenance of corruption to the sustenance of sound. You see that code, people? You see that code? We've gone from a blue jay to a phoenix, properly representing Ra, because even that blue jay is a way of representing Ra. All things, all animals that are depicted with wings represent Ra, because that's the only way they can come from the sky, or they can be in the sky in our minds, as if they have wings. Okay, so that's why birds are used, is to, number one, represent Ra, represent the source of sound. Okay, where the sound is being broadcasted from. Like I've told you, we are in an Om stem. It's called Ba'am. Ba'am is what you want to call the God of gods. Okay, this is what everything is inside. There's nothing outside of Ba'am. Okay, nothing. Everything is inside of this master supreme or. Okay, the mouth that it uses to broadcast to its inner being is called radiance. And this is what Ra is. It's the radiator. Okay, it is what it speaks. Okay, it is what speaks the intelligence of Ba'am. Just like in Christianity and all religions, you have the Son of God. Okay, so the Say-on is the Say-on of Ba'am. Okay, now we have Ba'el-Du. Okay, so we've gone from Ba'el, right? We've gone from blue, okay, which means low thinking, okay, low non-thinking, to Ba'el-Du. Okay, raise. Okay, so the Ba element is sound. Okay, and sound is what does. This is also what you would see, the word, the calling you would use for blood. Okay, it's literally the same word, the same Am-Ordu I would use is Ba'el-Du for both blue and blood. Okay, the only difference between blue and blood is is low thinking and the extra go odd. Okay, so it makes, so when you say I have blood, that means you are low thinking and you move oddly. So that means you can't do anything for yourself. You require secondhand shit. Because you can't, you're not firsthand. You're not doing anything for yourself. You're not connected to source. Okay, so that means you're low thinking and odd. That is blood. Okay? And then you have rays. Well, they say J's. We already did the code for J's. Well, we're putting the authority not half, we're going full authority now. Baal do rays. Okay? You have the red Seon Ra right there in representation. Okay, you have the tower, okay, of Babel. Okay, that's what they all are. Okay, symbolizations that they can, they can speak to the air. They can receive from their false god through the air. Okay? The tower is the same thing as Toronto. You have Tau, to ow, the or. Okay, so this is a symbol that state is up to ow, to bring harm to the or. The or are the peoples, places, and things. Okay, you have the blue phoenix, the Baal-Dure, okay, with this flaming red bat, okay, that has just struck a red stitched baseball. All right, and so, yeah, and then on the back, we have Team Ra 888. That's Tommy Ra. Okay, the Tama entity of Ra. That's the team. It's the Tommy. Okay, we have Bara Iengo Bata or Baka. Okay, right in front of you. I'm going to remove this I because I don't really need it because it's just redundant. Once you have a Bara, you know you're a soul. The soul just represents the I represents soul man. Okay, so we don't need that. So it's Bara Engo. Bara Engo Bata or Baka is bring better back. Okay, that's the theme. That's the motto that we're on. It's about bring better back. Let's go check out how they look because we've made some t-shirts. We've made some here. Check out the sticker, peeps. You can buy this $4.80 US on Shopify. Okay, you get the sticker. Let's check out this shirt, peeps. You guys got to buy these things and get engaged in this spiritual war. Get engaged in the spiritual war. If you have any invested interest in one of these two teams, is a perfect opportunity for you to get engaged and really help turning this tide that we're in. Okay, we have full permission to do what we're doing. Okay, check that out. Isn't that hot? Check that out, peeps. Okay, this is the sound warfare. This is sound logic. Okay, you got this, peeps. This is not demonic shit. This is the flip. This is the uprise, the evolution that they couldn't do. You think they can be out in the open and represent Ra? No, they have to do shit in secret, right? But I know they're operating under false authority. Can't tell me that ain't hot, peeps. Can't tell me that ain't the shit, peeps. Okay, you can't tell me that ain't the shit. I need some of you people that really, know how you're doing in production and all this shit to come working with me. Okay, because you're going to be done. What do you think God's going to be doing to you? Your God's taking you out. Your God's taking you out, peeps. Okay, your God's taking you out. Look at that, peeps. Can't tell me that ain't the shit, peeps. Can't tell me that ain't the shit, peeps. Okay, get that shit embroidered. One more thing, let's go. Should have another baseball for the Toronto version. There we go. So as you're seeing me scroll, these are all the things that you can get on aminra.com. Okay? Go to aminra.com and start buying and buying and buying and help support your freedom. help support the shit that's really happening here. Okay, that's really happening that you can really be a part of. Okay, can't tell me this ain't the shit. Okay, can't tell me this ain't the shit. All you fashion designers and all the shit, you need to be working with me because you know I own everything raw. You know, everything coming out, all these names, everything it's my trademarks, it's my shit. You guys need to get with me. Okay, you guys need to be working with me. Okay, you're going to be locked down because I'm telling you, these draconians will not be able to utter one word. They haven't created anything. They can't create anything that has a sound because the sound needs to be expressed in letters and symbology in their language. So they're not going to be able to express anything. This is where they're going. They ain't telling you. Okay, they want to wipe you out so they don't need to fucking show you the reality. Okay, they're totally muting you. Okay, till you're deaf, dumb, and blind. You're not going to be able to utter anything. We're going right back to the day when you used to go into stores if you're 50 or over or you know, my age and up. When we used to go to the grocery store, and if it wasn't a brand product, there was absolutely zero, only the ingredients on that package. They couldn't tell you what it was, just no name. And they put it beside whatever it was simulating. Okay? Most of the stuff were the exact same companies. Maybe the products didn't meet certain standards, but they couldn't put they couldn't put a brand that sold the same shit. Okay, it was not the brand, and it was no name. It could not be given a name. You understand this, people? This is exactly where we're going. If you're not a sound being, you're not even going to be giving a name, which is a calling, but they call it name because it means negate me. That's what a name means. This is why you all need to get your names decoded. Okay, I've done a couple of decodings this week. We need to do a lot more, people. Okay, you all need to spend the $45 is fucking nothing. Zip. People charge way more than that a month, and I can guarantee you they haven't given you anything close to what I've been doing on a whole for all of society, for all of humanity, and with no reward, nothing except for the fact that I'm doing it. Okay? So let's go. Let's get it on. Let's break the curses. Let's break the generational contracts. Let's root for our Tommies, okay? And let's just be sound. Get involved in the battle. This is another example on how you can continue to do. You don't have to change a thing. You only have to change what you're calling what you're doing. And if by calling it, changing what you're calling what you're doing changes you from wanting to do it, then that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, that's supposed to be because you're supposed to be a sound person who are able to make sound choices. Okay, not follow, have cognitive dissonance, and just wait for your media prompts. Okay, and your taglines and everything else. Okay, so be a part of Team Raw 888. Okay, let's bring better back. Ta'anka for watching. Okay, receiving, taking it in. Please go to jesus.com and sign up. Please go to aminra.com and buy. Okay, buy something. Okay, put yourself in a situation where you can say you are in the process of solarization. Okay, you've helped me. You understand? You need to be in that position whether you see it now or not. You need to be in a position where you could point and say, I helped him. You understand me? Whether you believe it, accept it, or not, I am telling you what I shouldn't have to, because if you had sense, we wouldn't be here right now. Okay, so please help.